father, and I had a dream about my father. Actually, I had the dream about my father on the day that the dead fell. But I decided I wasn't going to play till after the 21st. Show you how clever I am. And didn't check the date. 6:25 fell on the 21st. You know, it was a clear picture of my father. You know. The last time I had a dream, I was talking to him. 279 fell, talking to the dead. You know. Your spirit will hook up. If you have, the more knowledge you have, the more your spirit will unwind your messages in symbological dreams that are relevant to your life. Your grandmama's name, your aunt's sister's nickname. You know, the kind of food she used to fix, stuff like that. There's one brother who needed $25,000 for whatever. He didn't tell me what he needed it for. His mother, his cancer. His mother had passed. Now, I don't know if it was true or not. He said she came back over, crossed over, and some spiritual beings have the power to do that. They can come back from the other side at will, if they have the power and the grace to do so. And gave him a number straight, and he called it for $25,000. Tax-free. Mama, Mama sent the baby stuff. There's a strong bind between the Cancerian son and Mama. A very strong tie that sometimes isn't healthy, but this time it proved to be quite a beneficial thing. But I'm saying that there is something very definite about dreams in relationship to numbers. All dreams are not numerically interpretable for hitting the lottery. Okay, so some dreams are. When 789 fell, but like last month, this month, I did last month. I stopped playing. I played New York number, and I started to lay down. Now usually, I get dream interpretatives after I'm half asleep, almost asleep. This one started before I could get my head on the pillow. A group of black folks moving around, and then suddenly this white face comes up in the middle of all, looking left and right. I should have known something was up, but my mind was not on playing. Man, 789 the next day in New York, place for white men.
Sure.
And so your dreams can be quite vivid, particularly those with the sevens. Pay attention to your mind, all of you. First of all, not just those with sevens in the chart, but black folks, period. Believe your own mind. We just got through talking, the sister and I want to mention this. There is a problem on the subconscious level of the African's collective mind. He is, even in his awareness of his Afrocentricity, its value and its power and its potency, is still about the business of sabotaging his new America. We're still refusing to acknowledge one another, to patronize each other. It's a failure syndrome we have learned. Some of it directly, most of it indirectly through our parents, and the very shabby display of failing symptoms that we see in our world, our children, our parents, the drug problem, the drinking problem, the fighting stuff. The subconscious is learning how to undermine our success. You must be aware of this. Thought is very powerful. Not just your thought. Thought is very powerful. Okay? The wrong thought can take up the energy of the right thought if you're not dealing with positive thinking. If you're not dealing with thoughts of light and of truth and of knowledge and of power. The old saying, as it may seem, it certainly isn't old, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Believe me, it is still true. If you're not doing something with your mind, somebody is. If you're not mastering yourself, you believe somebody's mastering you. The area we have not dealt with, in our culture, is our own mind and the power we have inherited from our ancestors. Because we got this attitude about our ancestors. It wasn't about nothing. I've heard that. And that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. You can't erase yesterday's black man and black family. You're erasing yourself. You're the extension of yesterday's black man and black woman and black family. That's why we're here. We don't leave the past. That's the root of the present and the possibilities of the future. We need to understand that. Very, very important. How many of you good American Negroes approach your Bible today?
My mom.
We're making ourselves into Moors. But because we speak English and think from a Eurocentric point of view, in Eurocentric symbology, which gives precedence to the European image when you think in English, when you speak in English. You can't help it. There are a handful of words in the American dictionary that complement the ethnocentricity of being black. And black is not one of them. All of the wonderful, wondrous words were in reference to someone who does not even exist, a white man. There is no such thing as a white man and a white woman. White is in reference to light. That's all it is in reference to. We gave them the light, it's deep. Language is really very powerful. Very, very powerful. Very seductive. I watched something I thought was over in America a couple of weeks ago. The bus got very crowded. And the first two seats right behind the bus driver are very small seats. This little, small, petite, light-skinned Negro woman was sitting there. And there was several women standing, and men too. She was sitting next to a black woman. This cracker got on the bus. I mean, I'm saying cracker because that's what he looked like in the stereotypic of the redneck and the red nose and the flaming eyes of fear and all that. This woman got up and bowed her head. She saw him coming. This just happened to catch this scene. She gets up out of her seat. The white man, her seat. I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. 1993. And the slave mentality still in the back of our heads. Okay? We have to unlearn that. Unlearn that. That's why it's important to obtain the 3 missing keys of the African culture in America. Identity, self-knowledge, and self-revelation. Those are the 3 missing keys. That's what we are here doing. And it's important that you get into this book, the Bible. This dude Koresh just won't go away for a while. He didn't tainted it and polluted everything holy with his demonic butt. And one of them is that the fact that he was going to interpret the 7 seals.
Incorrect.
Well, thank goodness he didn't get a chance to show that dumb stuff. I don't know what he was about, but it could be enough to confuse the issue. And as the mindset is in this culture, in my head, I still cannot see a white boy walking up to me, telling me, I am the Christ. Boy, if you don't get out and fight that. Well, as I thought about him, Imam Isa said, in the 70s that he was Jesus. He's teaching Arabic. So he's from the house of Yahuda, house of Judah. And brother's got power. No doubt about it. Brother has power. And he's still saying he's the Lamb. Even though they've gone from Islam to the old Hebrew, the Nubian. So there's plenty of them out there claiming this, and that's fine. But if a brother doesn't come up and say to you, look, I am God, and so are you, he'll let me get the hell out your face. That's right. If it ain't about you, it ain't about nothing. That's the finest premise I can offer. If they're talking about God, they got to be talking about you. It ain't about bow down and scrape and scram. It's about arise. It's about raise up in 1993. And putting on G-O-D is what we're doing here in this session of classwork. And I always mention, I think at least I should always mention, John chapter 10, 31 to 36. That's my piece of evidence found in the scriptures that the American Negro, chicken-eating, biscuit-sucking, Reverend shoestring is not dealing with. And I'm going to get on it until we get it right. You got me, biscuit? I'm on you. I love you, but I'm on you, brother. Yeah, he needs to be stimulated, He needs to be stimulated. We don't need any more ignorant Negro folks following the hunky to death. I thought we would have learned something behind Jones. And here you look up, there's a brother sitting back there, listening to the white boy, doing yes, sir, boss. Worse, yes, sir, Lord. Damn. Let's get on here to Revelations. I'm going to start at the beginning because I made a mistake. I proceeded with the assumption that we knew what Revelations was about, and then went on beyond that and started dealing with it when we dealt with the 12 powers of man. But that's too big of an assumption. There's too much paranoia and mysticism around the book of Revelation to the point where even preachers are afraid to deal with it in their pulpit. Essentially, the problem of the African preacher is that he does not have access to his Afrocentricity, his African education, which would automatically would have granted him a knowledge of symbology which his ancestors invented. With symbology, one opens the book of Revelation, and as well as the other codex inscriptus, the code written into the scriptures, and the dictionary, and other esoteric or hidden material that is a part of the Masonic lore, which is ancient Moorish knowledge and practice. With the keys of symbology, we're able to do wonders with all of the mysticism that even today the black preacher is still not dealing quite well with. So we want to make sure we know what we're talking about. I don't want you sitting here. In fact, I thought about doing it, about reading something stupid and just getting you all to say amen, because you're supposed to check me out, particularly behind stuff like Koresh, when was on that brother's hit mine. So if I say something, if I quote something, I should be able to verify. But the major theme is this. Remember, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the God that is you. That's the theme. When somebody gets away from that one, that's when your eyebrow should go up. When they start doing Jesus out there and how wonderful Jesus is and how wonderful Muhammad Rasulullah is and how, wait a minute, they're going away from man, know thyself. What your ancient ancestors, again, left you as a legacy. Self-knowledge. is the knowledge that we are lacking and perishing because we are lacking. Not just knowledge, yes, sir.
So is it so that everything that Jesus did and anybody before him or after him, we all can do, each and every one of us?
That's right. That's what we want to come to the realization of. And that realization is a part of your spiritual experience. You can read that. Someone can explain that. Someone can teach that. But what you want to do is realize that in your consciousness. The idea of knowing that you are a God is to become a God. Prove me herewith, saith the Lord. Not the Lord out there somewhere, the Lord within. The Lord is law of the universe. He who embodies the law of the universe is the Lord of the universe. Whoever he or she is. Okay, Revelation chapter 1. Let's start right there and deal with what we're talking about here. Someone who has the Bible want to read Revelations 1:4. Just read 1:4. Who's got it? She's got it? Speak up there, young lady. Got a big Bible, too, though. Go ahead. Bless your heart.
1:4. John to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace will be...
Stop right there. Read that again.
John to the 7 churches which are in Asia.
All right. Right there. Where you stop. Not the 7 churches in Atlanta, Georgia. Not the 7 churches in New York or Mississippi. The 7 churches that are in Asia. Now, where is Asia?
To the east.
What does Asia mean? That's the question the student should ask. What does Asia mean? Thank you. And Elijah should have given a definition for that because he put it up there as a comparative to that of all of the other terminologies about the planet and made the division between what he was teaching, what Noble Drew Ali was teaching, though they were teaching the same thing. But he said, remember, he's the one who said we were Asiatics out loud. Drew Ali is the first one who said we were Asiatics of Moorish descent. But he didn't define Asia either. And we've allowed our scholars and our teachers and our preachers to get away with this labeling of the African without defining the words. We've allowed it. That what God has made is what Asia is given in its metaphysical definitive. Doesn't mean it doesn't have another meaning, because it probably does. God makes not flesh. Mama makes flesh. Okay. God makes ideas. The Creator's creation is the mental creation. Mama created all the rest. Mama Earth and Mama. Okay. That makes that body in 9 months. All right. The reason I'm pointing that out because what we want to realize is that the entire book of Revelations is symbolical and spiritual. It is not about the outside. It is about the inner. The inner universe. That the universe is mental. That we are mental. That God is mental. That the word church is in reference to something mental. That every symbol in the Bible is in reference to something mental. That's important. Otherwise, the Jehovah's Witnesses can yank you right out there in the world and show you all these revelations. They've been waiting for this revelation since 1925. And he started early, 1914. He had one Or when folks supposed to be moving away and Jesus was coming back and all, because they were dealing with the exterior. And most fundamentalists still are. And they're going to argue with you. And you're going to meet them. They're going to come and knock on your door. They almost got me the other day. I peeped out the window and saw them.
Pull the shade down.
No, I don't pull the shade down no more. Just put on something black and open the door and stand there. What's up? You don't get too much slack when you look black. Okay. That what God has made. Then we go on. I got it marked here. I'm going to skip a little bit, but first of all, once again, read the book of Revelation carefully. Make these underlinements because I'm going to deal with the keys so that the chapters will make sense and the symbology will make sense. Okay. Okay. Okay, go on, young lady. Start there again, 4, and you can read 4 and 5 this time.
John to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you, and peace from which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness, and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, and washed us from our sins in his own blood.
Okay. I think the only other symbol there that we're going to be dealing with is the 7 spirits. He has the 7 spirits. Okay. There are, let me do this here just to give you a very sound picture of something quite interesting here about this idea of 7 and how much this book encompassed it. There are 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 vials or bowls, 7 churches, 7 candlesticks, 7 stars, 7 peals of thunder, 7 angels. Plenty of 7s. 7 is the vibration or the number of completion. In the Metaphysical Dictionary, Fillmore gives a little light dab. He didn't deal too much with the chakras. He kind of stayed away from that, but he every now and then would drop a little light on it. He was aware of it, there's no doubt about it. But some stuff he kept for himself, as many mystics often do. And he was a legitimate mystic, I would think. Seven, metaphysical. The number representing fullness in the world of phenomena. 7 always refers to the divine law of perfection, or the divine nature of man. That is your number, your ethnocentric vibration. Four, 6, 6, 9. Somebody add that up. 4, 3, 9. Somebody add that up.
7.
Not just 7, that's a 25 7. And that's a 16 7. Numerals. 7 is the perfect number on the physical plane on one dimension. Even the European physiologist and biochemist is confessing that you have the highest developed physical form on planet Earth. Even he's admitting that. 7 is also the vibration of power. Seven is also the vibration of mystical power. Mystical inquiry, spiritual aggressiveness as a word, the curiosity to ask the question why rather than yes or boss. Very important when the Reverend is elucidating and pontificating to get his amen. Oh, is that right, Reverend? Well, can I get amen? No, wait a minute. Let's turn to John chapter whatever and deal with it. That'll be vibration 7, doing that. If he or she does not have the courage to do it outwardly, he or she will be doing that in his or her mind. It won't be able to help it. That's how 7 thinks. That they want to know the truth. Not what somebody says, do you believe my brother? Yes. That ain't what Jesus taught. Jesus didn't ask the folks to believe the truth. He said, know the truth. The truth would set you free. Know is knowledge. Know is not only knowledge, but know is on what? On the ledge, or level of knowing. That's what knowledge is. When you're on the consciousness level of knowing, that is when you have knowledge. If you don't have that level, all you got is information. Pure knowledge comes directly from your soul itself, through your intuitive faculty, your other spiritual faculties. Pure knowledge, accurate knowledge. Paul is accredited with making this statement, having the form of godliness, but not according to accurate knowledge. Very appropriate theme. Every Negro minister on Sunday should be jumping up and down shouting that one out and dealing with that one every Sunday, boring his congregation to death with that one. You're perfect and you don't know you're perfect. You're God and you don't know you're God. Somebody get that devil off up there, I mean, that's probably what he would get first. Because most black folks are so seduced to servitude. They find it very difficult to imagine the fact that they are God. The proof is, I've shown it to black folks in the Bible. The book that they swear by, and will kill for and die for. And one brother down in the donut shop told me, read it and looked at it. That ain't what that means. He couldn't believe it. It's interesting. Because there's something back here that says, you ain't about nothing, you ain't worth nothing, you ain't nothing. I'll get this in there and throw a ball you up and throw you away. I'll throw you out your own head. It's really deep. Really deep. Okay, let's get back here. Here's a very interesting one. It's not directly relevant to the 7 seals, but verse 7, chapter 1. Who else has a Bible they want to read? Just read verse 7 there. In Revelations 1. Nobody else has got a Bible? Go ahead, sister. Go ahead and read. You got them.
Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen.
Okay, now I'm going to read this American translation. It's been, you got King James here. That's obvious. Okay. Same verse. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him. Quite a difference, isn't it? Jesus is coming back. The Bible said he's coming. Yeah, because that's what they're putting on folks. Got folks walking around scared to death. Because look up and Jesus might be standing on downtown there, Martha Square. That's where they at down there every Monday morning, preaching away, Every eye shall see him. That's spiritual, not physical, in the spirit. The Christ you want to see, let me rush us up a little bit here, is the one that you are. That's the one you want to see, okay? So it's nice to see somebody else raised up, And my brother, he's got his robe on and all this stuff. It's fine, it's good. We can't have New World Testament all somewhere. I don't want it.
So what is the cloud?
Spirit. Whenever you see the word cloud, it represents spirit. Whenever you see the word white robe, it represents spiritual power of light. Remember, white means light. That's all it means, okay? Ain't no white folks. So we get out from between the unsolvable problem of opposites. You can't solve a war between black people and white people. That's duality. Duality ain't going nowhere. It will be going on when you leave. And if you don't leave right, you're coming right back down here in duality to battle the good against the evil. We're the fat, we'll be talking about the skinny. You see, it'll be popular to be fat, and unpopular to be skinny when y'all get back down here. Okay? Duality, you can't solve it. So we are the original human beings. Any other human beings came from our genetic coding. That is not opposite. That's chronology. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who's last? The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Yes, sir.
So what then will be the difference in the thinking between white and
When?
black? When?
What will be the
The
difference?
psyche, yeah.
What should be?
What is the difference? What should be? Yeah, let me ask that.
The important point of view is to have the correct point of view about yourself. That's the correct thinking. That's all you're responsible for.
So if we're the original, then,
Yes.
and they came from us in
No, they came from the Oriental. They look more like them than they do like us. But the Oriental looks more like us.
So my question is,
Yes.
what is the difference in the thinking? Or is there a difference?
In their thinking, first of all, they're not thinking with very much melanin. And many of them don't even have any. You know, because there are a lot of European albinos, who have almost no melanin in their entire physiological makeup. And we think and feel with this substance. We don't even know how to view life without thinking from a melocentric point of view. With feelings, you see, to understand what it means to have melanin, to be passionate, to be concerned, to feel something for someone, to intuit, to sense brotherhood, sisterhood, friendship, kindness, forgiveness. And then another reason why we know Jesus was black, he forgave everybody. There better been a white boy maybe say, "Oh, my daddy gonna get y'all." It is the substance that makes you more human. This melanin in your blood, in your brain, as to whether you're light brown skin, high yellow, you still got it. You're still hooked up. Okay? Your sense of rhythm differs from every other ethnocentric group. To appreciate that beyond that of pride, which means absolutely nothing, it is to appreciate the universe functions by rhythm. That life exists because of rhythm. And you're attached to the same rhythmic pattern of the universe. 2, 4, 6, 8. Instead of 1, 3, 5, 7. Which is a count, but it's the opposite count. What does that mean? Well, meditate on it and discover some wonderful things about yourself that you've been taking for granted all these years. And believe me, meditating on melanin is worthy of your spiritual meditation. There are some things your God would like to reveal to you about the essence of life, about this black Very important word in its original language. There is power in being and having this substance. It's what produces everything else. Out of the darkness cometh the light. Okay, let's go on. We didn't even get very far, are we? Oh, yes, we are, because I'm going to start jumping and skipping here. Okay. Verse 9, let me read that. Same chapter. John, your brother, and fellow partaker in the tribulation and kingdom and perseverance which are in Jesus, was on the island called Patmos. In the King James, you have the word isle right here.
Right.
Okay. The Isle of Patmos. Erase it. Really don't need to draw this. Nervous system. And I'm going to abbreviate it, the medulla oblongata is the Isle of Patmos. That's where he was. Okay. In the east. All right. Where's the east, Isaac?
Right in front.
All right. Say it out loud. Say it again. Now, some folks don't know that. The east is the front of your body. That's the east. The north is the top of your head. The south is the bottom of your feet. The west is your back. He was on the Isle, Patmos. The east is within. The west is without. That's where you are. Buried in a shallow grave in the east. All right.
Could you,
Yes.
could you go through that again?
What part?
What you just said?
The direction. The top of the head is the north. Are you writing it down?
I am.
All right, because don't you
Okay.
ask me this next week when I tell you to stand up. Ask
If
you
I got the
where's
answer, if I get the
okay.
answer today, I won't ask you.
All right, dear. Very good. The east.
First, could you, I'm sorry, could you read back over the scripture again and then go back through it?
Well, what I'm explaining, first of all, is Patmos. Okay, the key here is where John was. Okay, because the preacher is saying he was in prison, you know, somewhere in Asia Minor. Okay, we're all in prison. We are buried in a shallow grave in the east, within. Patmos is the nervous system and the medulla oblongata. That's where you go to when you get laid out, slain in the spirit. When you're in the Lord's day, or on the Lord's day in the spirit. You move into the nervous system, in the vertebrae. You go to church, to 7 churches. Your vertebrae. We're going to get to that in a minute. What I was just bringing in is the fact of direction. It is important in things spiritual. That Revelations is not talking about the outside world. It's talking about the inner world. The things that God has made. God made things from the spiritual to the mental. And nature duplicated it in the physical. Mama is nature. Mater Matter. Mater. Mother. Same word. The origin of all things. Zero is mater, is mother. The essence, black, is zero. None of the European numerologists bring that to light in their delineation of their literatures of the 9 numbers and zeros. One of them even suggested that you don't wear black. Biophobic, huh?
That's all they wear.
Yeah, they're wearing it for different reasons.
What reason? How come they wearing it?
We get distracted. Don't do that. Stay on your side of divinity.
Leave those others alone.
Stay on your side. Okay. Oh, is that clear enough now about where you are in relationship to where John was in Patmos? The Isle of Patmos. He's supposed to have been in jail. Okay, well, that's okay. That's fine. The symbology still works quite well. But the point is, it's inside, it's symbolical. As we will find out here. Verse 11. Write in a book what you see and send it to the 7 churches. Then he gives the names of the 7 churches. I won't read that. And verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that was speaking with me, and having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. I was supposed to have my chart up here, and I don't have it. I left it at home. I should have left it here, and I would have missed it. The 7 golden lampstands are the 7 segments of the physical vertebrae. Okay. From the medulla oblongata to the coccygeal vertebrae, the one that turns at the end of your booty. Those are the lampstands. Okay? All right. Write it down so you can go check me out.
All right.
Yeah.
What's that other one? At the bottom of
The coccygeal.
coccygeal?
C-O-C-Y. C-O-C-X-Y. Yeah. C-E-A-L. Okay. And in the middle of the lampstands, one like a son of man. Let's say like the son of God. One like a son of man. Clothed in a robe reaching to the feet, and girded across his breast with a golden girdle. Behold, John saw himself in his spiritual body. It scared him. He was waking up and been blessed. This is John's revelation. You know, he said Jesus wrote a book. The book was Revelation. Well, that's all exterior. John represents the spiritual candidate who has the power of love. That's how you get your chakras open. With love in your heart. You can't force those open. You force a few other doors open, but oh boy, don't do that one. Now, I'm going to deal with this. I wasn't going to deal with this because we made this assumption. I didn't wear my t-shirt today. I got 3 copies of it. Jesus is a black man. And on the bottom of it has a quote that I'm going to read here. This is Revelations 1:14. And his head and his hair were white like wool, like snow. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. And his feet were like burnished bronze. That's at the bottom of this t-shirt with Jesus painted as a black man. That is not what that means. that Jesus was a black man. But though he most certainly was a black man, that particular verse is not in relationship to his woolly type hair, which I rest assured he had. But wool represents spiritual power, wisdom. When it's white, it's what?
Right.
All right, now remember that now. So when you see the word anywhere in the Bible, W-H-I-T, it's in reference to light. The white robe is in reference to the aura of the light. That's what the robe represents when you get it. That you either have the light or you're going to get the light if you keep your robe on. And don't let Satan take it off because he's busy trying to snatch it off. Okay.
Will and spiritual power, Edwin? Will and spiritual power.
And light. Yes. It is the aura. It represents the aura here as a symbol. Yes.
When you were talking about how white means what now? How it's
It means light.
okay.
That's all it means.
Then why in Leviticus when it describes the cursed seed of Canaan and the lepers as having like white skin and white hair?
Well, okay.
That's
You
physical.
done found, you done found a symbolism of
When it says white like lamb's wool, his hair,
right.
then it also refers to the lepers as having white thin hair.
Okay. Well, I don't know whose translation it is. What we're talking about is the metaphysical level of scriptures. I don't want to try to jump over there because I haven't even dealt with that, but I'm familiar with the area about leprosy. The loss of melanin is something more than physical. It most certainly is something spiritual that is lost, but I haven't even given that any consideration. What I'm trying to do is yank your attention off the physical and put it on the spiritual. That's what I'm trying to do. Just the fact that Jesus is given the name Amen tells you he was a black man. That's an Egyptian African name, title for a king and a god. That alone is evidence enough. It was one of his most illustrious names. One of his new names, that of Amen. Okay. Stay on the spiritual. Stay in the symbolism of life. You get yanked out there. Okay. Okay. Whatever is true where? Within. What's the law of correspondence? As within. All right, okay. We're talking about the laws. And with these laws, we're able to understand the knowledge of the Son of God. As soon as you get out there, you get into his story. And miss the point. Okay. And his feet were like burnished bronze, the energy of the astral body. When it has been caused to glow in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of many waters. The sound of Amen, Aum, or Om, the sound of many waters. Since we're talking about Amen, let's look at what it means. It has an exoteric and an esoteric meaning, as everything does. Brother, it pulled me out here on Front Street here. I got to deal with some of this. Same word. Isaiah 45:15. O Lord, thou most surely art a God who hides himself. Amen. The hidden one. The hidden God. In its syllabic breakdown, it is Aum, the ancient word for the Word of God. It is one of the names of God. The word name means what, Isaac? Got you sleep there, didn't you? Yeah. This sister here. Yeah.
The nature of something.
Speak up so they can hear. I know it.
The nature of something.
All right. Name means nature. That's the key for unlocking the knowledge of the Son of God. Name means nature. Whatever the name is, it will tell you about your own divine nature, as your name will tell you something about your human nature. Okay? I'm glad I'm doing this because, like I said, I'm making these assumptions and going, grabbing these big symbols and dropping them out here, something wrong with that, brother. So, let's just take it a little bit at a time so we know what we're talking about and we know what we're doing. So we can know what we expect. That's what's important. Not for me to sound heavy. Brother threw a wrench out there on me. I got to deal with it. I got to go check him out now. See if I come back here next Saturday, have you hooked up there, brother. Thanks a lot. I appreciate a challenge. I appreciate it. I really do. I don't even want to know everything. Believe me, I don't. That is the Creator's job. I don't want to handle it. Yeah, I just want us to raise, like, take on that title, G-O-D, and do what I'm supposed to do. And get the hell off of here and go somewhere else. But they got it going on. They got it going on down here. Believe me. They got it going on down here. But it is a challenge. It will strengthen you. Okay. Okay, I didn't deal with the church that represents the heart chakra. That's the one we dealt with last Saturday, on the hot cup. The heart chakra, which corresponds to the astrological sign of Leo. And I just kind of politely brushed over that. The throat chakra is Sardis, the church of Sardis, which is it's the fifth chakra. So turn to 229. Actually, Revelations 3:1. The typograph I have his message to Sardis, the church is dead, yet having you believing. This is Schofield's fundamentalism here. Okay, the church of Sardis. Remembering that the church is in Asia, is within. I'm going to read the metaphysical meaning of Sardis here from Charles Fillmore's book here. That is one of the few tools available in dealing with a comparative study of the chakras and scriptures. The metaphysical school of Fillmore is based essentially on the 12 glands of the body. But every now and then he would drop a few nuggets here and there dealing with the chakras that are in the etheric body. Whereas the glands are in the physical body. So we're going further in. Okay. S-A-R-D, I got a mark here. Sardis, precious stone, carnelian, Sardonyx, Sard, Prince of Joy, a city, the capital of ancient Lydia, and the site of one of the 7 churches to which John wrote. Metaphysically, the riches of power, precious stones. Also, joyous dominion, Prince of Joy, a prince belonging to the ruling family. Those are the meanings of the concept sardis. I'm supposed to have my chart here. I don't have the chart. Let me see here. Give you an idea what I'm talking about here. Because we're going to keep running into a very important word or words that again are misconstrued. Now, as I mentioned last Vishuddha, the heart chakra, the pictures, the symbols of the Hindi school are not necessary to open your own heart chakras. The fact that they are highly colored and decorated and dramatically presented gives us a significance of their valuableness. That's what the word, and this word, makes reference to, and to try to keep it in line with this will help you as you study and experience the meaning of this word spiritually. The precious stones. As I mentioned, I think last Saturday or Sunday, that's why they took this concept and why they call themselves by the names of precious stones. Rubinstein, Goldberg, diamond, pearlman, silver. That's an occult order. On the negative side, it's an awful occult order. There is a legitimate side of it, where those that are really in search of God. There are some Europeans who are really looking for God. But then there are those who are claiming everything down here because they have the knowledge of the things down here. There aren't any African metallurgists. There aren't any Africans who cut diamonds. Do you know one? Didn't think so. A very well-kept African trade. Now, how to cut a diamond, the quality of pearls. The brother Allen check the gold out, brother, check the gold out. Know nothing about no gold, silver, nothing. You know, he's selling. He think he done ripped somebody off, the white boy ripped him off. But the concept, the idea of precious stones is to be understood. You have those stones within you. They are a part of your spiritual makeup. You have gold and silver in your brain. It's a part of your spiritual chemistry that flows into your physical chemistry. That's why they are important. Not for the things that they can buy, but because it is a part of your higher or highest nature. That's what we're trying to get to. And why Jesus says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these other things shall be granted to you, because you'll be in tune with the law of attraction that will attract your good. Riches, honor, and glory. That's what grace is. Things just get better when you raise up higher. Helps you to drop the fretting and the worry that gets you desperate and end up closing this up as you get cunning up here. I'll get some of that money. I got to get some paper, bro. Give me some paper. Right, man, right. Okay. Next thing you know, he got some paper. Yeah, right. About 8 or 9 different sheets. And put him on all kind of paper. Okay. Okay, let me jump back. What time is it? Because I got some dynamite for you here.
15 after.
Huh?
15 after 7.
Is it 15 after 7?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We're going to, for those who are here for the first time, we're going to meditate. And we're going to another level in our meditation. Okay. Well, let me see what else I want to include in these few minutes here. Okay. The throat chakra is here. The power of the spoken word is the gland at the back of the tongue. Now, I didn't explain that in the first 12 weeks. Nobody called me on it or anything. I kept talking about the throat chakra, and everybody just sit content as I mentioned the glands. Just rip y'all off. Anyway, they interconnect. The power of the throat chakra, Vishuddha, which this writer says means pure, and it doesn't. It means praiser. Yahuda. It's where the word Yahuda comes from, Vishuddha. The Sanskrit language is the root of what is called the Hebrew language. So, like Yeshua is Purusha. Okay, just to point out an academic fact. This center here gives you the power of the spoken word. It is always open. If you can talk, then you know it's open. But the power only trickles in. As you work with the techniques that open the centers, the more power will come through. So it isn't just a matter of thought word, imagined word, but also the power of the spoken word. That you see something that you want or are supposed to have or is going to come to you as it comes in a dream, in a vision. And then down here, you take your wonderful lips and talk it away. Okay? When you speak with power. The concept horses represents the power of spoken